When you snap a perfectly crisped potato chip in half, your brain expects a simple, satisfying snack. But beneath the salt and crunch, there is often a hidden layer of chemical contamination we are entirely blind to. Many of the most common packaged snacks sitting in your pantry, like instant noodles and flavored chips, rely on heavy animal derivatives to achieve their addictive taste. Factory manufacturers routinely use processed pig fat, hiding it in plain sight by labeling it with obscure chemical codes. The deception extends well past the snack aisle. Take the fitness industry, where high-performance gym supplements are widely rumored to use crushed animal bones as a cheap bulk source for protein powders. To understand exactly what we are putting into our bodies, we have to look past the bright, friendly marketing labels. We need to travel backward, away from the grocery store, and step directly onto the factory floor to watch the machines at work. The pristine supermarket shelf is a carefully engineered facade. The only way to consume safely is to learn the intense industrial alchemy required to turn raw, often dangerous materials into your daily food. We tend to think of whole foods as entirely safe, but nature requires intense intervention. Take the raw cashew apple. The shell encasing a raw cashew seed contains a highly toxic, poisonous liquid. If you touch it, that chemical will instantly burn and destroy your skin. Making a cashew safe to eat requires extreme physical engineering. Factory workers must subject the seeds to high-temperature steam boiling to neutralize the poison, use heavy machinery to crack the hardened outer cover, and aggressively roast the nut to burn off any remaining toxic residue. You see a similar chemical reality with raisins. If you try to make raisins by simply leaving market grapes out in the sun, they will just rot and grow fungus. This photograph shows vast rows of grapes drying on paper sheets in the field. But even this natural-looking process relies on heavy intervention. Before drying, factories submerge these grapes in a chemical bath of ethyl oleate and potassium carbonate to kill bacteria and speed up dehydration. Afterward, they are locked in a sealed room overnight with burning sulfur and coal smoke to force the grapes to shrivel. Even the simplest, most raw snacks in your pantry are never the product of untouched nature. They survive the journey to your kitchen because they undergo an intense, controlled chemical survival process. That level of factory control is even more extreme when we look at premium liquids. Cultivating and extracting high-quality wine is an incredibly complex timeline that begins with grafting specific, high-yield vines together by machine long before a single grape grows. This historical image shows a woman barefoot inside a large wooden barrel crushing grapes. It illustrates the heavy physical toll required to extract the mixture of raw juice and grape skin, which is then blended with yeast nutrients and left to ferment under intense pressure. We see similar extremes in the dairy industry. While cheap supplements might rely on crushed bones, producing high-quality whey protein is an act of pure dairy engineering. Look at this industrial milk bottling plant conveyor. The massive mechanical scale here is necessary because cow's milk must be chemically separated using targeted enzymes. The liquid is then thermally shocked, heated to 145 degrees, and instantly plunged to 4 degrees to kill bacteria, before undergoing microfiltration and high-powered blow-drying to isolate the pure protein. Creating high-performance nutritional powders or premium aged wines requires exact microscopic control. It is a calculated act of chemical separation. The engineering gets darker when we move away from our plates and look at our bathrooms and closets. Many everyday household items rely on ingredients sourced directly from industrial waste and slaughterhouse byproducts. This is the sweeping interior of the historical Sunlight soap factory. To produce mass-market soap, factories take a massive vat of raw animal fat, mix it with highly corrosive caustic soda, boil it with water, and force the hardening liquid through high-pressure rollers to create the fragrant bars we clean ourselves with. The modern textile industry applies the exact same logic. The synthetic fabrics you wear every day are often born from materials you would cross the street to avoid. This massive landscape of discarded plastic bottles shows the sheer volume of waste the industry collects. Factories crush the sturdy plastic, boil it with water, and melt the powder at extremely high temperatures until it extrudes into long, soft threads that mimic the feel of cotton. The factory floor is the ultimate master of disguise. It applies enough heat, pressure, and chemistry to turn discarded trash and raw animal fat into our most intimate daily necessities. When you stand in the grocery aisle holding a brightly colored package, you are looking at an intentional distraction. The clean packaging exists to mask the intense, often unappetizing chemistry that built the product inside. Take a close look at this ingredient list. Manufacturers know you don't want to eat pate fat, so they hide it by swapping the plain text for obscure alphanumeric codes like E631. The next time you pick up a bag of chips or instant noodles, flip the packet over, scrutinize the fine print, and watch out for additives like E631 and monosodium glutamate, which are often derived directly from those animal byproducts. Because the factory floor operates entirely in the dark, behind closed doors, no one is going to police your pantry for you. The responsibility for what your family consumes rests entirely in your hands. True health and safety in the modern world requires ignoring the marketing. It requires reading the labels, understanding the manufacturing process, and maintaining an educated skepticism about everything you buy.